Okay, so we're doing quadratic real-world problems. Y'all, the only difference is that there's words and you just have to justify what you're doing. Okay, so things to remember. They must equal 0 before solving. That's the biggest thing to remember. So if you look at number 1, it says the formula for throwing an object is s equals negative 16t squared plus vt plus h. So it's missing some things. Okay, t would be our x, but we need to figure out v and h. It says where s is the height of the object. What I want you to realize is s is the height of the object at any time. S is the height of the object at any time. T is seconds for time, and v is initial velocity. And h is the height of the object is thrown from. What I want you to realize is the difference, because these are both heights, but this is the starting height. This is the starting height. That says any time and starting height. Okay, it says if a man is 5 foot 9 inches tall, throws a ball at 25 feet per second, how long will the ball be in the air? Well, I want you to know his velocity is 25. And if a man is 5 foot 9 inches tall, isn't that the starting point? The starting height? Yeah. Okay, but the issue is I need it all in feet, not feet and inches. So how would I turn that 9 inches into a decimal? No. So what you're going to do is you're going to divide. You're going to do 9 divided by, how many inches are in a foot? So it's going to be 0.75. So this guy, this is h, our starting point, equals 5.75 feet. So knowing that, now we know everything we need to know in our formula. And we're going to plug it in. So we have s equals negative 16t squared plus v is 25t plus 5.75, which is graphed over here for us. So then it says how long will the ball be in the air? Well, how do we know when the ball's in the air? How will we figure that out? Well, the ball is in the air from this to this, so somewhere between 1 and 2. Well, what's the height of this point?
0.
0. So can we plug in s is 0? So we need to find a, b, and c. Negative 16, B, and C. So I'm going to build my skeleton. It's the same thing we did on our notes last time. And we're going to plug in. So B is 25, A is negative 16, and C is 5.75. And remember, we simplify this one piece at a time. So negative 25 is just negative 25. 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. And then we simplify what's in the house. Okay, I had a lot of people today just trying to type it like this in the calculator. Hold on, it's super delayed for y'all. Trying to type it like that in the calculator, and they're making lots of little mistakes because it's hard to see the whole thing. So it's super easy to miss a negative or something, and they're getting it wrong. I promise you it's worth it to break it apart one piece at a time. Why is it so delayed? There we go. Now, the best part about word problems is that we don't have to simplify this like we've been doing. We can literally type in our calculator and see what it gives us. Because if you said, hey, well, when did the ball land? And I said, negative 25 plus or minus square root of 993 over negative 32, would you look at me like I'm psycho? Yeah, you'd rather me tell you 10.5 seconds or 2 seconds or whatever. So you are going to literally just do your alpha y equals enter. Negative 25 plus the square root of 993 over negative 32. And this gives you negative, so it's going to give you 2. You get negative point. Now it tells me to round to the nearest tenth, which is one number after the decimal, so negative 0.2. And then this is the cheat. Are you ready? Click second, enter, and it types it again for you. Now, you do have to scroll and go to the plus sign and make it a minus sign, and then there you go. Well, what's 1.76 rounded? 1.8. Yeah, rounded to the nearest tenth place, not whole number. Now, which one of those makes sense and which one does not? 1.8 makes sense, but does negative 0.2? No. So remember, word problems get word answers, so we'd say 1.8 seconds.
So the same thing, different word.
That's exactly right. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. At what time will the ball be 10 feet high, guys? So what I want you to realize here is how many times is it 10 feet high? Twice. Here and here. So we're going to have 2 answers. And they're both going to make sense. So remember, 10 feet high, S is the height at any time. So we're going to say 10 equals negative 16t squared plus 25t plus 5.75. Now, is it ready to plug in? No, what do I need to do? Move the 10. Now, is it like the 16, the 25, or the 5.75? Which one am I going to combine it with? The C, the 5.75, so minus 10. And then 5.75 minus 10 is negative 4.25. So now guess what? You do the exact same thing. Okay, so what am I plugging in where? Okay, so B is going to go here and here. A is here and here. And C is negative 4.25. No, it's delayed. It's that delayed. So negative 25, Donovan, Kara. Psst, y'all. Shh. Negative 32. So remember, we type just what's under the house. And I get 353. And we're going to figure out what that is. So I get point. Now this says around to the nearest tenth again, so what's that going to be? 0.2. And then remember, second, enter, and just replace the plus with a minus. And what's that give me? Now both of those make sense. Therefore, they're both solutions. So we're going to say 0.2 and 1.4 seconds. Okay, look at number 2. The worst part about number 2 is the ugly decimals. They're pretty terrible, but it's fine because we're typing them in the good calculator. Okay, another part about number 2. So it says the table shows the population of a country in Africa. The quadratic equation to determine the population in millions of people is this, where P is population and X equals 0 for the year 1940. So what that's saying is that for year 1940, X is 0. They're playing a game. Okay? Yes. X equals 2 would be for the year 1942. So it's how many years past 1940? Well, how many years past 1940 is 1960? 20. What about 1997? Well, if you don't know, you can do 1997 minus 1940. That gives me 57. 2005 minus 1940 gives me 65. Does that make sense? How many years past 1940? So knowing that, A says, what will the population be in 2012? So I need to know 2012, what would that X be? Well, 2012 minus 1940 is 72. And we're trying to find this guy, the population. Well, can I tell you what's cool about this, y'all? It gave us X. Do we have to do the quadratic formula to figure that out? No, can't we just plug it in? So P equals 0.0019. What is X? 72 squared, X squared, minus 0.0572 times X, which is 72, plus 0.5723. Is this just a calculator problem? 100%. You're just going to type it the way you see it. So all I've done is replace X, and it says around to the nearest tenth. So what does P equal? 6.3 million. Does that follow the trend in the table?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Last one, and then I'm done talking. And I promise you this is the one that's harder than the ones on your practice because of all the ugly numbers. What year was the population about 1.85 million people? Round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so it's saying what year was the population. So we know P equals 1.85. And we don't know X because X is years. Okay, so knowing that, we are going to set it up as 1.85 equals 0.0019x squared minus 0.0572x plus 0.5723. What do I do? It has to equal to 0. So what do I need to move? So I'm going to minus 1.85. And am I going to do this number, this number, or this number? The last one. Guys, please just hold off. So I get 0 equals 0.0019x squared minus 0.0572x, 0.5723 minus 1.85, negative 1.2777. So A is 0.0019, B is negative 0.0572, and C is negative 1.2777. Why do you think we don't round these? Yeah, if you round these, then later when you're supposed to be rounding, it's not even going to be closer to right, so therefore you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay, so negative B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. Okay, I know I wrote those really, really small. So again, we're going to break it apart one piece at a time. 2 negatives makes A. So this becomes, I'm going to bring it up here, positive 0.572, 0. You got me. I wrote it right, said it wrong. What's 2 times 0.0019? So 0.0038. And then inside the house, gives me this number. Ah! And now the rest of it's calculator, and we only have to type it once. So alpha y equals enter. Okay, so I get these two numbers, and it says round to the nearest whole number. So what's my nearest whole number on this first one? 45. And what's my nearest whole number here? Negative 15. Which one does not make sense? The negative 15. Now, how do I figure out what year is 45? What am I going to add it to? Add it to 1940. And what year does that give me? $85. $45 plus 1940.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Well, you have more population than... Wait, so the population is...
1.85 is between these two. No, it's not.
I know what I'm saying.
I don't know. Tis what it is.
Someone's wrong with you. That's why I said 2001 to Brian. Yeah, that's what I said, like 1999. 1999. That's it. This is that.